All right, here's the question, guys, that nobody wants to answer. And I've been thinking about it a lot more lately because I've got a really special event that's coming up. I did this event last year. It's called the Better Human Project. I did it for about 250 industry professionals, but there were lots of other folks there. There were students, there was athletes, graduate students, people that had just entered the workforce. And it was a beautiful collection of human beings. And the feedback and the response from it was so overwhelming that, number one, it told me we needed to do this event again, which we are on February 26th for an even larger crowd. But it also told me that there are key questions that are not being asked of all of us as we're trying to all get better, as we're trying to all have more of an impact in our communities, in our workplaces, within our families, even on this earth. And I think that ultimately is the only thing that's called upon us all as human beings. Whether you believe in God or you believe in the universe, I feel really called upon today to talk about this episode, and it's something that just came to mind because everybody on here, meaning on this podcast and on this earth, has one job, and that is to leave this place a little bit better than how you found it, to have some kind of an impact, to give something back. Because imagine the beauty in that. Like, if everybody does that, you have a better society, and that better society is being fueled or occupied by better humans. And that's what today's episode is all about. But I want to ask this key question, and that is, do better humans do better business? Or is it the other way around? Now, we've all seen wealthy people who are miserable. We've seen successful people who are grossly insecure. We've seen money magnify people's egos. And we've also seen money magnify generosity. So the point is that money and success don't build character, they actually amplify it. If you are an insecure person who is broke, when you become rich one day, or if you become rich, you'll be even more insecure. If you were a generous person beforehand and you always found ways to serve and give to others when you didn't have much, when you do come into much, whether it's in the way of money, success, visibility, credibility, whatever it might be, or a combination of all of it, you will only do more of it because that's who you are at your core. Money just reveals that. It puts light on it. It's kind of like pressure. And we've talked about this on previous episodes. Pressure does not create who you are. It simply reveals it. It exposes it. And let's be honest, guys, all of life is pressure. Business is pressure. Success is pressure. Adapting and evolving and growing is pressure. Visibility is pressure. There's no escaping it in this life. And it's all there as a lesson for you, as a tool to get better, to get sharper, to grow through something. Most people avoid it, but I've talked about this a lot, whether it came to my competing days as an athlete, or even more so the athletes that I had the privilege of coaching for a 10-year period, is that the brightest lights or the biggest stages leave you no room to hide. They expose you for what you are, for what you aren't, and it will be a lesson that is either met with some level of success or accomplishment, or one where you're gonna have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to shore up some of those inadequacies, how to grow more. But make no mistake about it, guys, the biggest stages, the biggest lights are truth serum. They reveal who you are. So back to my question, guys, and I'll answer it for you on my end, but you can tell me what you think. And even think back to either yourself or key people in your life that fit the bill. But better business does not create better humans. It just exposes whether or not you are becoming one. Now, there's different components of becoming a better human, and I'm gonna go through that outline here in terms of the kinds of people that you wanna keep in your life and also the kinds of person that you want to always be embodying. So I wanna take a quick pit stop though before we get to that, and that is that clarification of the difference between why and who, because I think a lot of people, and we've talked about this on previous episodes, guys, but I think it bears mentioning now because this is really important. A lot of people will confuse or kind of blend together the why and the who. They'll say that my family is my why, my kids are my why, my spouse is my why, my elderly parents are my why. But that's not actually a why. A why, which we'll get to in a second, is something very personal and deep. Those things that you might have been talking about are your who you are doing something for. And who is much more black and white. It's easier to identify because you're around it all the time. You wake up to it every day, or you come home to it every day, or it's constantly occupying brain space because it's very important and it's a huge sense of obligation. Who we do things for is extremely important, and we need that as fuel. We need that as purpose to tap back into whenever things get a little bit difficult. But even more so than that, like if you really want to supercharge, if you really want to know what's going to push you through something so difficult, that is ultimately your why. And your why is darker. It's very personal. It could be almost like too much to share in public. Now, this is having to do with limiting beliefs. This is having to do with an inner demon. This is having to do with that voice that's always been in your ear telling you that you can't do something. You have to figure out what the why is and why you're doing something truly, and burn that into your heart, because that ultimately is what you're going to need to tap into when things get really, really hard. Remembering why you want to do something or why you're maybe embarking on this mission, the easy default is the who, your kids, your spouse, your family, your parents, whatever that might be. I'm doing this for them. Okay, easy. That's kind of a quick energy boost and a realignment of, you know what, finish the extra mile, stay the extra hour, do the extra thing. But what's ultimately going to push you through something when you're ready to quit, when you're so exhausted, completely worn out, when you've taken loss after loss after loss, and you just feel like quitting? That ultimately is going to be recentered and refueled by your why. And that why, the darker, the more meaningful, the more impactful it is when you actually gain control of it, when you actually conquer it, when you actually finish the fight. That is one of the most gigantic steps that you can take to becoming a better human. One, because you'll create a massive blueprint for achieving the impossible in your brain, for slaying that dragon. And two, you'll be able to share it with other people. And that's the gift. All of us are out here trying to do things, create more, have more of an impact, or at least we should be. And when we do it, it's important that we send the elevator back down so that it can bring other people back up, or share it with other people, reveal those blueprints, help other people save some time and shortcut it perhaps. And that leads me now into what are those two components of being a better human. I think you have to, number one, have good people around you. And then number two, never stop working as a work in progress to actually become that better version. So let's start with what's around you. We've all heard that expression that you're the sum of the 5 people that you choose to hang out with. And I think the older I've gotten, I'm 47 now, and I can very honestly reflect as someone who's always been much of an extrovert, had large social circles, had a lot of people that I refer to as good friends. And I'm lucky that way because I genuinely feel that they are good friends of mine. I would be there for them and they would be there for me. But I've also been a lot more careful about keeping stock of who I truly give time to as I've gotten older. One, because my time is scarce. I have a family. I work full time or beyond that if you want to actually measure it. And so I don't have a lot of bandwidth for everybody that's out there. I still love people and stay connected to them loosely and keep up when I can. But who I give time to now is something that I'm a lot more selective about. And I've even cut some people off or just kind of put them on the back burner in terms of where they occupy space in my life, how much space I hold for them. Now, I'm challenging you here as you're on this same mission as I am of becoming a better human being. Take stock of everyone that's around you. And let me tell you guys, one of the greatest life hacks, if you can do it, if you can do this in your 20s and gain some sense of visibility on this and appreciation for it and just truly acknowledge it for how powerful it is. And it's hard because you're taking my word, someone who's lived through it. And now while you're in the heyday of your life, which is your 20s, it's the magical time of lessons and experience and growth. But if you can actually accept this and take stock in cleaning up the people that are in your life in your 20s, your 30s will be a period of time where you will experience so much growth, so much involvement, and so much eventual success that would have otherwise been held off for you until your 40s or 50s. So if you want to speed things up in life, start what I'm telling you right here in your 20s. Take stock of everyone that you hang out with and figure out who's worthy of your time, who's going someplace, and who do you actually want to be around? Because it all has an influence on you. It's all rubbing off in some way, shape, or form. And here's the one trait that I want to reveal to you, that if you recognize this in a friend or in someone close to you, you must hold on to this and protect it with everything. And that is the friend or the person that has the ability, almost effortlessly, to be happy for other people, happy for you as their good friends when maybe things are not going so great in their life. Most human beings are wired by high degrees of envy, of jealousy, even spite. Sadly, the world that we're in with social media is not helping any of that. So to actually find someone that can be truly happy for you, even when things are not going great for them, is an absolute gift. It's an absolute light. Now, I can count on one hand, in spite of all the friends that I have, and they're all great friends. Some of them I love dearly, and I'm lucky to have so many, or people that I would call good or close friends. But I can count on one hand only how many people in my life I know that if everything in their life was going to hell in a basket and I had something big or special that came up for me, they would still find time. They would still find some way to reveal how happy they were for me, even when I would give them a total pass at overlooking it or not being happy for me. And there's true magic in that because that reveals someone who is very selfless, someone that can actually see things outside of themselves, someone who can compartmentalize and recognizes that it's not always about them. It's a real gift. And so if you have people like that in your life and you're trying to figure out who you're going to spend more time with, who you're going to spend less time with, prioritize those people first and foremost. And if you happen to have 4 or 5 friends that are like this, you are a very, very rich person in my opinion. Because those people will also be the ones that can call you out. They're stretching you. They're pushing you in ways. That's a real friend and that's a real good human being. And then lastly, what I'll tell you, the other component, guys, and this falls with yourself, is to recognize that great Bruce Lee quote that all human beings are merely works in progress who mistake from time to time that they are done. We are never done. You're never done growing. You're never done evolving. And so what my formula is for anyone who wants to actually be a better human when it comes to your side of the tracks, we already talked about the friends and the people that you want to keep in your life. But for your side of the street, for your side of the tracks, here's how you do it. You just pick the one word that you want everyone who comes to your funeral to remember you by. If you had 50 people there, if you had 50,000 people, if you had 1,000 people, whatever it is, maybe if you live a really long life, there won't be many people there, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, just means you lived a long and full life. Or if there are a lot of people at your funeral, if you, who are now somewhere in the skies or somewhere in the spirit world or looking down upon this, and you can kind of watch what everyone attending this time is saying about you, and if they only had one word to describe your life, to share what it meant or what that connection with you meant, what would that word be? And then you have to take that word and burn it into your heart. And every single day, along with the other strategies that I gave you today, just move towards it, even if it's small incremental steps towards that word. Even if you have your bad days, because again, we're all human beings and we're all works in progress, where you fall off track or you lose your pathway and you can't actually say that today was a good day that I moved towards it. You might have even taken a step back. Again, you're a human being. We're all allowed to have bad days, sometimes really shitty days where we just throw it all out and you don't even realize what kind of growth you may have even had or what kind of a person you're becoming. It's okay. Just get back on track and start to move back towards that one word. If you do this for every day in your life, no matter how long or short your life is, there will be meaning to it. There will be purpose along the way. There will be impact along the way. And ultimately, wherever you end, no matter how long or short that might be, you will be a better human being. That's the kind of humility that I choose to live my life with. It's always served me well. It's served the people around me really well, the people that I look up to and that I'm mentored by, that I idolize. And I want you to follow that same pathway. So I hope today's episode was helpful in that sense, in figuring out who you need to keep in your life, how you need to be living your own life, and what that purpose is and the difference between why and who. And ultimately, guys, we'll do what we're all put on this earth to do, which is to leave this place better than the way that we found it. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please share this episode with anybody that you feel it might be useful or helpful to. And if you want to take a screenshot of it and share it on your socials and tag me in it, this will help me recognize the kinds of content and episodes and thoughts that you guys need more of, and I will continue to bring it to you. I appreciate you guys listening and following the show. It means a lot. I love you all. If you're coming to the Better Human Project, I will see you guys here, and if not, we'll catch you on the next show.